My wife called me useless for refusing to babysit her sister's chaos kids, so I served her divorce papers instead. Reddit stories. One ultimatum shattered our marriage, exposing how deeply her family had sunk their claws into our home. She thought I'd bend, but handing her those papers showed everyone exactly where my boundaries stood. Hi, I'm Milo, 32, and 3 months ago my wife stood in our living room, looked me dead in the face, and called me useless in my own house because I wouldn't babysit her sister's 2 tiny agents of chaos for the 4th time in a month. That was the moment I realized 2 things. My wife had absolutely lost her mind. I was done letting other people wreck my sanity. But let me rewind. Before her sister Haley detonated herself back into our lives, Bonnie and I were normal. Good even. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our financial boundaries, and our fancy grown-up compromise system where we each paid bills proportional to income. Marriage was simple. Then Haley arrived, freshly divorced, broke, stressed, feral kids in tow, and suddenly our peaceful home turned into a demolition derby. I babysat once. Survived by a thread. Babysat twice. Barely made it alive. After round 2, featuring broken hinges, protein powder vomit, and one child who discovered my toolbox like it was hidden treasure, I told Bonnie, calmly, firmly, like an adult, "I'm not doing this again." But Bonnie didn't hear. No. She heard. Challenge accepted. Next thing I know, she's picking a fight, saying I don't support her family. That real husband sacrifice. And then my favorite. If you won't help, maybe I need to rethink our marriage. An ultimatum. Over babysitting. You ever have a moment so surreal your brain just pauses? Mine did. And when it rebooted, I realized exactly how much respect had slipped out of our marriage without my noticing. 2 days later, while she was at work, I laid divorce papers on the kitchen table like a polite nuclear bomb. And that was just the beginning. Because handing someone divorce papers is one thing. Watching them react is an entirely different sport. Bonnie came home at 5:42 p.m. Humming, holding a Starbucks, completely oblivious to the legal grenade waiting on the kitchen table. I heard the front door open. 2 beats of silence. Then, What is this? I leaned against the hallway wall like a man watching a YouTube prank video he already knew the ending to. Divorce papers, I said calmly. You gave me an ultimatum. I accepted. Her face went through 7 emotions in 3 seconds: confusion, shock, denial, anger, panic, defiance, bargaining. She grabbed the papers like they might bite her. You're divorcing me over babysitting? She shrieked. No, I said. I'm divorcing you because you called me useless in my own house and tried to bully me into being your sister's full-time daycare center. That's not what I meant. Oh, that's exactly what you meant, I said. And you said it loud? She kept pacing, flipping through the documents, probably checking if this was a joke, a prank, anything other than reality. You're being dramatic, she snapped. You're throwing away our marriage. You threw it the second you took your sister's side over mine, and then doubled down. She froze at that. Haley had burrowed into our marriage like termites through drywall. She whispered in Bonnie's ear constantly. Men need to step up, family first, he should be grateful you even asked. And Bonnie soaked it up like gospel. And now, when Bonnie needed support, Haley was nowhere. Bonnie was alone with the consequences she helped build. What do you expect me to do? She asked, voice cracking. Pack your things by Sunday, I said. Your car keys go on the counter. The Camry is in both our names, and I'm the primary owner. You don't take it. She looked like I'd slapped her. You can't do that. I can. And already did. She threw the papers down, stormed down the hallway, slammed the bedroom door so hard a picture frame tilted. My phone buzzed 30 times that night. Her sister, her mother, even a cousin I'd never met. Every message was some variation of, "How dare you, she needs support, be a real man." And, "This is your fault." But the thing about finally drawing a boundary? People who benefited from your lack of boundaries think you're attacking them. I slept like a rock. Because for the first time in months, my house was quiet. My dignity was intact. And I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Saturday morning, I woke up to the sound of furious pounding on my front door. Not a knock. Not a, "Please open." The aggressive, rhythmic thumping of someone who believes volume equals righteousness. I checked the peephole. Haley. The queen of chaos herself. Arms crossed, sunglasses on, ponytail so tight she looked aerodynamic. I opened the door just enough to block her path. "What do you think you're doing?" she snapped. "Enjoying my weekend," I said. "Until now." She barged forward, straight into the door because I didn't move. Bounced off it like a raccoon hitting a sliding glass window. "You can't just throw my sister out," she barked. "Yes, I can," I said. And did. Haley shoved her sunglasses to the top of her head and stared at me like I'd personally declared war on her fertility. "You're abandoning family. Your kids aren't my family. Your drama isn't my family. And your influence is why my marriage blew up in the first place." She gasped like I'd confessed to a felony. Then she launched into a speech, rapid fire, breathless, hands waving. "My sister is going through so much. She's struggling. She needs emotional support. She needs stability. She needs someone to rely on. She had that." I cut in. "She just didn't respect it. And you," she said, jabbing a finger at my chest, "you should be ashamed." "A real man. A real man," I interrupted, "doesn't get manipulated into being a free babysitter for two feral raccoons disguised as children." Her jaw dropped. "You're a monster. Good. Be afraid. Now leave." Before she could retort, another car pulled up. Bonnie! And behind her? Her mother, Gloria, stepping out like the final boss of passive-aggressive matriarch energy. Great. A full family intervention. Just what I wanted. They marched up my driveway like they were serving me divine judgment. "Milo," Gloria said in her calm but deadly tone, "we are not leaving until you fix this." "Fix what?" I asked. "My wife insulted me and chose her sister over our marriage." Gloria lifted her chin. She was stressed. "And I was disrespected." "You're being childish," she said. And that was the moment something inside me snapped so clean I swear I heard the click. 3 women stood on my property, telling me why boundaries were invalid, my home wasn't mine, my decision didn't matter. And suddenly, I saw exactly what my marriage had turned into. A 3-against-1 dynamic. Me being outvoted in my own house. Every time, Haley said. "Jump?" Bonnie asked. "How high?" Every time, I said. "No." The family tribunal convened. My voice had become optional. My comfort? Expendable. My marriage? A community project I hadn't volunteered for. So I stepped outside, closed the front door quietly behind me, and said, "You all need to leave." 3 shocked faces stared at me. "I'm done," I said. "The divorce is happening. Bonnie moves out Sunday. You don't speak for me. You don't decide for me. And you sure as heck don't guilt me in my own driveway." Bonnie's lip trembled. Haley recoiled like I'd sprayed her with holy water. Gloria whispered, "I raised my daughters better than this." "You raised them to depend on everyone but themselves," I said. And that was the turning point. The exact moment every single one of them realized I was not bending. Not this time. Bonnie burst into tears. Haley cursed me out on my lawn. Gloria shook her head dramatically, like she was in a telenovela. And I just stood there, steady, unmoved, done. For the first time in years, I wasn't outnumbered. I was in control. And they all felt it. Sunday came faster than anyone expected. Except me. I'd been counting down like it was Christmas morning and peace was the present. Bonnie showed up around noon with Haley and Gloria in tow, as if bringing backup would change the laws of physics, property ownership, or my level of patience. The garage door was already open. All 23 boxes of her belongings were neatly labeled and stacked like a Costco display. Bonnie froze. "You packed everything?" "Yes," I said. "Including your inspirational kitchen sign." It was behind the canned goods, by the way. Haley folded her arms. "Wow. Controlling much?" I shrugged. "Not controlling. Efficient." Gloria stepped forward with the tone of a disappointed kindergarten teacher. "Milo, sweetie, marriage isn't something you throw away." "You're right," I said. Which is why Bonnie threw it away first. Bonnie sucked in a breath like she'd been slapped. I said I was sorry. She whispered. "No," I corrected. "You said I was useless. You said I wasn't a real man. You gave me an ultimatum. Then you brought your entire family to pressure me into parenting children I didn't help create." Haley interjected. "That's not..." "Haley," I said, holding up one hand like I was stopping traffic, "your contribution is no longer required." Her jaw dropped. Then things escalated. Bonnie stepped forward, tears streaming, clutching one of the boxes like a life raft. "I can change. I will change. Just don't do this. Please. We can fix it." There was a time when that would have wrecked me. But not anymore. "It's too late," I said softly. Her face crumbled. And then, because every drama needs comic relief, Haley stormed up to my porch, pointed dramatically at my chest, and announced, "You're making the biggest mistake of your life." I looked at her. "No. That was letting you both into my house." Even Silas, who had come over to supervise the chaos. His words let out a choked laugh. Bonnie kept crying. Haley kept seething. Gloria kept sighing dramatically like she'd been cast in a church play titled Our Wayward Son. But eventually, they packed the car. They slammed the doors. They drove away. And for the first time since Haley had returned to town, my house was silent. Clean. Mine. That night, I sat alone in my living room, no toys scattered, no screaming, no chaos, and realized something profound. I hadn't lost a wife. I'd escaped a sinking ship her family had been drilling holes in for years. And the air had never smelled so fresh. The smear campaign began 48 hours later, exactly as Silas predicted. I was at work, minding my own business, eating leftover wings like a civilized adult, when my phone buzzed nonstop. Haley had gone nuclear on Facebook. One of those long, vague, deeply passive-aggressive posts that starts with, "I don't usually post personal things, but..." Translation: I absolutely post personal things and I live for this. She wrote about a controlling husband who abandoned his wife, a man who refused to support family, and my personal favorite, "Some men just can't handle strong women." Silas texted me a screenshot with the caption, "Bro, she really said that with a straight face?" Bonnie hadn't posted anything yet, of course not. She needed plausible deniability while Haley did her dirty work. By lunchtime, a few mutual acquaintances had messaged me. "Is everything okay? Did you really kick her out over babysitting? Haley says you're unstable." Unstable? Me, the man who survived Aiden the feral raccoon child and Luca the tiny carpenter of doom? Sure. I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, Silas called me. No greeting. Just, dude. She left a 1-star review on your company's Google page. What did she say? That you emotionally mistreat women and probably abuse your employees. Bro. She used the word probably. My boss emailed me the same screenshot with. Handled it. Already removed. Haley's a nutcase. Also tell her that messing with company pages is a crime. Hope the divorce is going well. God bless corporate America. That night, someone egged my house. Aiden and Luca had already trained me for chaos, so cleaning it didn't bother me. But the security camera did catch the culprit. Haley. Throwing eggs like a 7-year-old who lost at Mario Kart. I didn't confront her. Didn't message her. Didn't post anything. I just saved the footage, labeled it nicely, and dropped it into a folder titled Evidence for Lawyer. Silas suggested calling the cops. I said not yet. Silas said, "You're a stronger man than me." I would have filed a restraining order and then filmed myself serving it with dramatic music. By Saturday, the harassment escalated. Anonymous texts. Blocked numbers. New fake accounts messaging me. Coward. Abuser. Your wife deserved better. I didn't respond. Kept saving screenshots. Bonnie stayed silent the entire time. She wasn't defending me. But she wasn't stopping Haley either. Which told me everything. Sunday morning, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered out of curiosity. It was Bonnie. Her voice was small. Fragile. Unlike the woman who screamed I was useless in my own home. "Milo, can we talk?" "No. I've been thinking about everything." "Haley," she pushed me. I let her influence me. "I didn't mean those things I said." "You meant them enough to say them." Silence. Then, "Can we start over? Please? I'll change. I'll do anything. I miss you. I miss our life." "No. But I love you. You should have thought about that before the disrespect." She sniffled. "You really won't take me back?" "No." Long pause. A shaky breath. "Okay." She finally whispered. "Okay." She hung up. I blocked the number. Silas, upon hearing the recap, said, "Bro, I've never been more proud of you. Wanna get wings?" That night, while watching TV, my house felt strange. Not empty. Not lonely. Just peaceful. Center of the universe quiet. The kind of quiet you don't realize you've been missing until it comes back. The kind of quiet that says, "You made the right call." By week 3, Bonnie's life was unraveling faster than Haley could duct tape it back together. I wasn't keeping tabs on her, but people talk. And when your ex-wife and her sister are lighting small fires across town, the smoke tends to drift your way. It started with Bonnie's job. Her coworker, someone I barely knew, sent me a message. "Hey, I know you two split, but I thought you should know Bonnie's not doing well. She keeps showing up late, looks exhausted, messed up 3 schedules this week. Dentist says 1 more incident, and she's on probation." I didn't reply. Not my circus anymore. Meanwhile, Haley kept spiraling. 2 boyfriends in 4 weeks. Both bailed once they met her kids. One allegedly said, "I'm not trying to be a stepdad to 2 demolition gremlins." Accurate. Haley, naturally, blamed everyone but herself. Then came the twist. Babysitting. The thing my wife nearly blew up our marriage over. The hill she chose to die on. Guess who became the new full-time, unpaid weekend babysitter? Not me. Bonnie. Haley had her running ragged. Every weekend. Every date night. Every emergency. Every moment she needed self-care. Bonnie went from clubbing twice a week to spending Saturday evenings scrubbing marker off walls and chasing Aiden around the apartment like he was a caffeinated ferret. Silas, upon hearing this, said, "Divorce saved your life, bro. You escaped the blast radius." She stayed inside with no helmet. Week 4, Bonnie got fired. Showed up late again. 3rd time in 10 days. Boss didn't bother with another warning. Her social media posts changed tone. Selfies with captions like, "Healing is messy. Sometimes the people you trust hurt you the most. One day at a time." All that vague inspirational nonsense people post when they're falling apart but want to pretend they're thriving. Haley added her own posts. "Men show their true colors when they can't control you. Strong women rebuild. Family is everything." The irony was delicious. But then, predictably, the sisters turned on each other. Apparently, Haley demanded Bonnie take the kids overnight again because she had a date with a promising guy. Bonnie said she couldn't, she had plans. Haley screamed that Bonnie was exactly like her loser ex-husband. Bonnie apparently cried for an hour. 4 days of silent treatment followed. Then Haley apologized, swore she didn't mean it, blamed stress and the patriarchy. Bonnie forgave her. Because of course she did. Then it happened. The call. Blocked number. Persistent. 5 tries. I finally answered. Milo, please. I need to talk to you. No, you don't. She inhaled shakily. I made a huge mistake. Haley twisted everything. I wasn't myself. You didn't deserve any of it. I want to come home. No. Please. I'll change. I'll set boundaries. I'll cut Haley off. I'll do anything. No. I still love you, she whispered. Doesn't that matter? It mattered before you disrespected me. Before you chose your sister over our marriage. Before you called me useless in the home I bought. Silence. Then, quietly. So that's it. That's it. I hung up. Blocked the number. Set my phone down. Took a deep breath. Felt nothing but relief. Silas texted. Proud of you, King. Wings tonight to celebrate your spine? Divorce day hit like a perfectly timed punchline. At 2:15 p.m. my attorney emailed. Congratulations. You're officially divorced. Papers will arrive within 5 to 7 business days. I stared at the message for a solid minute. Not sad. Not angry. Just free. I texted Silas. It's done. He replied. Dinner. Wings. Whiskey. Celebration. Now. We hit our usual place. Ordered enough wings for a medium-sized football team. Silas toasted to peace, quiet, and never babysitting gremlins again. Life after that got simple. Predictable. Calm in a way I hadn't realized I'd been starving for. I reorganized my garage. Fixed the shelves. Went back to the gym 5 days a week. Watched actual TV without tiny feral humans dive-bombing furniture. Even started casually dating again. Nothing wild, just adults having normal conversations without emotional landmines hidden under every sentence. Meanwhile, my ex-wife was busy starring in her own personal tragedy. Word trickled in through mutual acquaintances. Haley's latest boyfriend dipped because she kept bringing the kids on dates. Bonnie was bouncing between temp jobs. Money was tight. The sisterly empowerment squad was turning into a stress-filled codependent meltdown. Apparently Bonnie spent every weekend trapped in Haley's cramped apartment watching Aiden and Luca destroy everything in sight. Silas said, Bro, that's karma doing the Lord's work. 6 weeks post-divorce, it happened again. Game night. Wings on the table. First quarter just starting. Bam bam bam. Someone pounding on my door like they were serving a warrant. Silas froze mid-wing. You expecting someone? Nope. He looked through the peephole. Dude. It's your ex. And she looks like a haunted sock. I opened the door. And yeah, she looked rough. Eyes swollen, makeup smeared, hair wild, wearing sweatpants with a questionable stain on them. Milo, please just talk to me. No. She grabbed the doorframe. Just 5 minutes. I swear. I messed everything up. I listened to Haley. I didn't respect you. I didn't appreciate what I had. I can fix this. We can fix us. No. I'll do anything. I'll cut her off, Haley, my mom, everyone. I'll go to counseling. I'll change. I'll be better. Silas stepped forward like a bouncer at a club. Look, no offense, but you don't get to burn someone's house down and then beg for a tour of the ashes. She ignored him. Milo, do you have someone else? Is that why you won't take me back? I didn't answer. Didn't need to. Her face crumpled. This isn't fair, she whispered. We were good together. You were good with me. I corrected. Not to me. She cried harder. Apologized again. Begged again. But her words hit nothing. No guilt. No ache. No old spark. Just emptiness. Eventually, she broke. Shoulders slumped. Eyes hollow. Okay. She whispered. Okay. She turned, walked to her beat-up rental car, sat there with her forehead on the steering wheel for a long moment. Then drove away. Silas closed the door behind her. Silence for 2 beats. Then he belched, sat back on the couch, and said, "Well, she's gonna remember that forever." Wings? And just like that, order was restored. The night after Bonnie showed up melting down on my porch, something strange happened. Nothing. No calls. No texts. No surprise drive-bys. No news social media rants from Haley about the patriarchy trying to silence strong women. Just silence. Silas called it the eye of the idiot storm, the quiet spot before stupid people regroup and make even worse decisions. He wasn't wrong. Because that Wednesday, my boss called me into his office. Not because of performance. Not because of company drama. But because of this. "Milo, do you know why your ex-wife's sister emailed HR accusing you of workplace discrimination against single mothers?" I blinked at him for a solid 5 seconds. "What?" He turned his monitor. There it was. Some long, unhinged essay from Haley claiming I fostered a hostile work environment for women struggling with childcare. My boss looked exhausted. "We deleted it. Obviously. But this is getting ridiculous." I nodded. Apologized that my divorce drama had spilled over. Promised to handle it. As I walked out, my coworker Dan whispered, "Bro, who did you marry? A Disney villain? She's got minions." That night, I emailed my attorney. He replied instantly, "We can file a restraining order whenever you're ready. This is textbook harassment." But I wasn't ready, not yet. Because some part of me wanted to see just how deep this rabbit hole went. Not out of malice. Out of curiosity. When someone dedicates their entire personality to ruining your life, you want to know what their endgame is. Turns out, it arrived faster than expected. Saturday morning, 10:04 a.m. Doorbell rings. Silas was over, again, because apparently my house had become his sanctuary away from dating disasters and his terrible downstairs neighbor who keeps microwaving fish. He looked at me. "You expecting someone?" "Nope." He checked the peephole. "It's Haley." I groaned. Silas cracked his knuckles. "I got this." He opened the door, but blocked the entrance like a human brick wall. Haley stood there in full meltdown mode, mascara streaks, hair wild, holding a stack of papers. "We need to talk to Milo." Silas didn't move. "No, you don't. It's urgent." "No, it's stupid. I can smell it." She glared at him. "My sister deserves closure." Silas snorted. She had closure. It came in a manila envelope with her name on it. Haley shoved the papers at the doorframe. "Fine. Then tell him this." Silas held up a hand. "Actually, no. You tell me. I'll decide what makes it through security." She took a breath. "My sister served him divorce papers, he signed them, and he owes her half the value of the house." Silas blinked once. Then smiled. "Ah. Comedy." He yelled over his shoulder. "Milo, bro, come see this. You have to hear the jokester at the door." I walked over, leaned in the doorway. Haley thrust the papers at me. "You owe Bonnie equity." "No," I said calmly. "I don't. The house was mine before we married. It's legally protected. My attorney already confirmed." "That's not fair," she snapped. Silas coughed. "It's not fair that 2 demons spawn destroyed his couch, but nobody paid him for emotional damages. Yet here we are." Haley's face scrunched into the expression of someone who just lost a debate with Google. "This isn't over," she hissed. Silas raised a finger. "Actually, it is. Because I'm about to close this door. He gently pushed the door closed. Haley shoved her hand in the doorway. Bad move. Silas tapped her wrist with exactly zero sympathy. Nope. Hands outside the danger zone. She yanked her arm back. Door closed. Silence. Silas turned to me, dead serious. Milo, your ex-wife's family is insane. Legitimately. Scientifically. Academically. Someone could write a thesis. I know. He grabbed a wing from the table. Well, good news is, the crazy always burns out eventually. But the way he said it told me he didn't believe that for a second. Neither did I. Because Bonnie had lost her husband. Lost her job. Lost her stability. And was losing her mind. People in that position don't quit. They escalate. The next escalation showed up not at my door, not online, not through HR. But through my insurance company. Yeah. These women went full creative mode. It was Thursday morning. I was halfway through my second coffee when I got a voicemail from my auto insurance rep. Hi Milo, we received a request to remove you from the Camry's policy and list Bonnie as the sole owner. We just need your verbal authorization before finalizing. I froze. Silas, who was sitting across from me playing some medieval phone game where he kept screaming, "Why is the cow on fire?" looked up. You okay? You look like Haley tried to summon a demon and accidentally summoned your ex. I played the voicemail. He blinked. Twice. Then, did she just try to steal your car with paperwork? Apparently, yes. Yes, she did. I called the insurance rep back. Yeah, hi, that request was fraudulent. Please lock the account so only I can make changes. Already done, she said. Happens more often than you'd think. Happens more often? Oh, you'd be surprised what people do during divorces. Silas yelled in the background. Ask if anyone else tried to file a chargeback for a wedding they regret. I hung up before she heard whatever other nonsense Silas planned to shout. But the second I set my phone down, it buzzed again. Blocked number. I knew who it was. Didn't answer. Voicemail came through immediately. Milo, Bonnie said, voice shaky. I need the car. You know I need the car. I can't get to my job interviews without it. Interviews? Plural? Things must have been worse than I thought. Another voicemail pinged in. I know you're listening. Please don't make this harder. I can't take another bus ride with Haley's kids. They throw things at strangers. Please. And then another. I just want the car. I deserve that much. Silas raised an eyebrow. Deserve? What is she, a superhero? With great chaos comes great reward? I didn't respond to any of the voicemails. Blocked the number. Again. But Bonnie wasn't done. Because by Friday morning, my front yard had gained a new decoration. A giant poster board sign, duct taped to a lawn chair. In smeared marker. Milo stole my car and abandoned his wife. Silas stood next to me, sipping coffee, staring at it like modern art. You know, he said, if she'd put this much effort into her marriage, you two might still be together. We dragged the sign to the garbage. 10 minutes later, my doorbell rang. Guess who? Bonnie stood on the porch, messy hair, oversized hoodie, face blotchy from crying and rage. You stole my car, she shouted. It's my car, I corrected. Legally. Financially. Contractually. Reality LY. You're punishing me. No. I'm enforcing boundaries. You're heartless. Silas poked his head out from behind the door like a snarky meerkat. If he were heartless, he wouldn't have married someone whose sister keeps Sharpies in her brow like tactical weapons. Bonnie glared at him. This isn't your business. Silas pointed at my face. This man is my business. I am his emotional support trash panda. I shut the door before it escalated. Bonnie stood outside yelling for maybe 2 minutes before giving up. Her footsteps retreated. Car door slammed. Engine sputtered. because she was driving her mom's crusty sedan. Silas exhaled. You know what's wild? We haven't even hit rock bottom. She's about to get creative. I know. And I did. Because desperation makes people do stupid things. But Bonnie? She was already past stupid. She was entering Olympic-level bad decisions. Rock bottom didn't arrive quietly. It showed up at 11:52 p.m. on a Tuesday wearing pajama pants, rage, and absolute delusion. I was already asleep. Silas had gone home hours earlier after spending half the evening researching anti-babysitting t-shirts. Never again, not my circus, not my sister-in-law, child-free and loving it. The house was dark, calm, peaceful. Then, bam, 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 bam. Someone hammered on my front door like the police doing CrossFit. I shot upright. Heart racing. Grabbed my phone. Checked the door camera. And yep. Bonnie. Standing on my porch under the motion light, hair wild, hoodie half-zipped, mascara smeared like she had sprinted through a sprinkler of tears. I groaned. Rolled out of bed. Silas wasn't here to buffer this. It was just me and whatever fresh nonsense she brought with her. The pounding escalated. Milo! I know you're awake! Answer the door! Nope. Not until I knew what flavor of chaos this was. I cracked the door open just enough to see her through the chain lock. What do you want? She held up papers, crumpled, damp, clearly mishandled. You ruined my life. Oh boy. Here we go. She shoved the papers at the gap. You need to sign these. What are they? An agreement, she snapped. You owe me spousal support and partial equity. I blinked slowly. Bonnie, we are already divorced. You still owe me support. No, I don't. It's not fair, she screamed. You kicked me out. You abandoned me. I have nothing. Her voice cracked. She stepped back from the door and, just like that, collapsed onto my welcome mat. Full meltdown. Sobbing. Shaking. Talking in frantic loops. You had everything. You had a house. A stable job. You didn't need me. I needed you. And you just threw me away. Like I was trash. I closed my eyes. This wasn't anger. This wasn't manipulation. This was a person whose reality had finally caught up to her. Her sister wasn't stepping in anymore. The partying stopped. The boys were overwhelming. The job was gone. The dating scene wasn't saving her. And the one stable thing she had, our marriage, she'd lit on fire herself. I opened the door the rest of the way but stayed inside. I wasn't doing anything she could twist into. Physical intimidation. Bonnie, I said quietly, you need help. Real help. From a therapist, not from me. She lipped up, mascara streaked across her face like war paint. You won't even give me one chance to fix this? You had years of chances. You chose your sister. You chose disrespect. You chose everything except our marriage. She shook her head violently. No. Haley told me, she said you were cold. That you were holding me back. That I deserved freedom. But freedom sucks, Milo. I'm drowning. I didn't say anything. What was there to say? She kept going. I thought you'd fight for me. She whispered. I thought you'd chase me. That you'd prove you cared. I exhaled. Bonnie, if you love someone, you don't test them by destroying them. Silence. She stared at me with this hollow expression, and for the first time, I saw the truth. She didn't want me. She wanted the life she had with me. The stability. The house. The income. The routine. I was a character in her crisis, not a person in her heart. I took a breath. This is the last night, I said. After this, if you come to my house again, I'll file a restraining order. I'm not saying that to be cruel. I'm saying it because this, I gestured between us, is not healthy. For either of us. Her face twisted like I slapped her. You would really do that to me? I would really protect myself. I said. Goodbye, Bonnie. I stepped back inside. Closed the door. Locked it. She didn't scream. Didn't pound. Just cried softly for maybe 30 seconds. Then I heard footsteps retreat down the walkway. A car door. Engine starting. And she was gone. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Not out of fear. Out of finality. Because it hit me. The divorce wasn't the end of our marriage. This was. The moment she walked away from my porch, crying into her sleeves. That was the moment everything we had officially became memory instead of weight. And the house felt lighter for it. The next morning felt unreal. You know that quiet after a thunderstorm, where the whole world smells like wet pavement and broken branches? That was my house. Emotionally waterlogged, but finally still. I made coffee. Sat at the table. Looked out the window at my yard, the same yard Aiden and Luca once tried to dig a tunnel to Australia in. For the first time in months, nothing felt out of place. Then my phone buzzed. Not Bonnie. Her sister. Haley. Of course. I ignored it. 5 seconds later, another buzz. Then 10 more. Then a call. I let it go to voicemail. My attorney had warned me. When someone loses control, they scramble for any leverage they can find. I didn't have to guess what Haley wanted. She'd been orchestrating this chaos like a drunk puppet master since day one. And now her star performer had fallen off the stage face first. But when the voicemail finished transcribing, it hit a new level of absurd. Milo, it's Haley. This is urgent. You need to apologize to Bonnie. She's devastated. You caused this, and you need to fix it. Call me back immediately. I actually laughed into my coffee. Me? Apologize? For what? Refusing to be a free babysitter while they built their personalities around cheap vodka and empowerment slogans. Blocked. 5 minutes later, another call. Different number. Blocked again. Then her mother tried. Blocked. By 10 a.m., I had blocked 8 numbers, 3 emails, 1 Facebook message request, and a very aggressive Instagram DM from someone named Goddess of Chaos 88, whose profile picture was a woman in glitter eyeliner holding a vape. Around noon, Silas came over with subs and a look like he needed to discuss something existential. You alive? He asked, mouth full. Barely. He sat down across from me, unwrapping his sandwich like he was defusing a bomb. So, he said, I heard through the grapevine that Bonnie's meltdown has achieved biblical proportions. How biblical? Plagues. Locusts. Crying in the parking lot of the grocery store. There may have been cursing in tongues. I groaned. He continued. And Haley? She's furious. Like pacing in her apartment making threats furious. She already called me. He paused mid-bite. And? I blocked her. He nodded like a proud father. That's my guy. We ate in silence for a minute. Peaceful. Adult. 0 screaming children. 0 broken furniture. 0 sharp murals of dinosaurs that resembled demonic chickens. Then Silas leaned back. You know this isn't over, right? Oh, absolutely not. They're going to escalate. I'm aware. They might show up again. I've prepared. How prepared? I slid a folder across the table. Silas opened it. Inside. Dates, call logs, screenshots, videos, timestamps. He whistled. My man is ready. I shrugged. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When they show you twice, document it. Silas laughed so hard he choked on salami. Then he got serious. Do you ever regret it? The divorce? No. Ending it when disrespect entered the chat? Not even a little. But the way she fell apart last night? I paused. Because yeah. It hit something human. Not regret. Not guilt. Just recognition. She didn't fall apart because she lost me. I said quietly. She fell apart because she lost the structure that made her life work. I wasn't her partner. I was her foundation. And she never realized that until it was gone. Silas nodded slowly. That's heavy. Yeah. We ate another few minutes. Then my phone buzzed again. A text. Unknown number. But not Haley's area code. Not her mother's. Not Bonnie's work. It was one I didn't recognize at all. When I opened it, my stomach dropped, not in panic, but in bewildered disbelief. Hey, Milo. This is Eric. I'm the guy Haley's been seeing. We need to talk. I stared at the screen. Silas leaned over. Who the heck is Eric? No idea. Why is he texting you? I swallowed. I think the universe just handed us a plot twist. Eric wasn't calling to threaten me. He was calling to warn me. Turns out Haley had been ranting about making Milo pay, and Eric wanted nothing to do with whatever she was planning. He bailed on her and figured I should know before things got messy. That was the moment it clicked. Their chaos wasn't mine anymore. Their disasters weren't mine to fix. My life was finally, fully, peaceful, because I'd walked away before their storm became my home.